Morning, everyone. Thanks for taking the time to log into today's webinar on mobile data capture with M.App Enterprise. For those of you who don't know, I'm Gareth Cronin. I'm one of the senior account managers here at IMGS, and with me I have Tanya McDonald from our marketing team, and I also have Kieran Kirk, our general manager as well, so he's here as well.
Morning.
Morning. Today's agenda looks deceptively bigger than what it is. I'm just going to give a quick overview of IMGS. So just literally a slide. I can see from the list of attendees, pretty much everybody knows who we are. But it just is good for a bit of context if anybody's looking back later on. I'm going to give a quick overview of the M.App Enterprise platform. So M.App Enterprise Mobile is a component inside M.App Enterprise. So I just want to put that into context. I'm going to talk about the actual mobile component itself. I'm going to do a live demo using my phone connected to my laptop. So the best laid plans of mice and men. So you might have to bear with me for a minute or two, but I have tried it a few times and it's working okay. I also have a video as well, unfortunately, because I'm going to do it through the phone. I can kind of pinch and zoom. So I just wanted to show the functionality in a short video as well, just kind of give you guys just a bit of a flavor of the mobile component. I'm going to talk about the product roadmap as well. So again, I just think it's for a bit of context in today's world of GIS. Everything seems to be moving quite quickly, which isn't something that we used to say about the GIS industry, but with the likes of all these IoT sensors, AI, I just think there's been just an absolute massive growth in terms of advancements in the GIS industry. So again, I just want to touch to show that the product's moving along with it. And then before we get to the summary and to the Q&A, I'm just going to talk about our upcoming webinars and events. So just a quick couple of slides to keep everyone in the loop about what's going on. So for those of you who don't know, IMGS have been in the Irish market space for over 18 years now, and we have three main partnerships. The first is with Safe Software, who have a product called SME Desktop and SME Server and SME Cloud. So it, again, #1 geospatial ETL tool in Ireland and the world, so I'm sure everybody's quite familiar with it. We're also a Hexagon geospatial and safety and infrastructure partner, and probably our longest partnership. So on the Hexagon geospatial side, that's where you have innovations like M.App Enterprise, where you have the desktop, web, mobile, but also the remote sensing, so the likes of Imagine, which I'm sure most people are familiar with. So in terms of change detection and remote sensing, and so much more. On the safety and infrastructure side, we look after a lot of the utilities in Ireland with that as well. So they would look after the likes of blue light, so again, emergency services, but also utilities as well in terms of asset capturing and management. And then finally, Talend, who is our latest partnership. Well, I say latest, probably about 2.5 years now. So Talend are a Gartner top quadrant, and they're all around big data migration, integration with the cloud, data governance, data stewardship, data preparation. So again, some really, really key components inside that platform, and that feeds into one of our next webinars that's coming up. So M.App Enterprise as a platform represents probably about 40 years of R&D from Hexagon. So what they've done is, instead of having multiple different components, having a desktop component, a web component, a mobile component, they put it all into one platform, and they've called it M.App Enterprise. Within that, you have a desktop, so a lot of people would have been familiar with the likes of GeoMedia and Smart Client. So again, it combines those tools, a web interface, then mobile data capture, which we're going to be speaking about today, data visualization, which is in the form of those dashboards, which is that big screen in the center there, which again is quite popular here in Ireland at the moment, and then geoprocessing. Again, I touched on it earlier on around Imagine. So again, you can have that, I know, for enforcement, for example, to see what's changed in a particular area. So again, it's really clever that it's brought it all together.
I suppose, Gareth, just from our point of view, Hexagon really delivered a solution that we've been looking for a number of years. I think a few years ago, when our customers were coming to us looking for, it would come under a heading Web GIS, but actually what was required was a system that could provide data capture in a browser, data capture in the field, which we'll talk about today, analytics, visualization. And actually, it was, for us, even as salespeople, it was a complex task, because we actually had to package all of these different components up on these different products and try and come up with a solution that made sense. Now with M.App Enterprise, we have a one-stop shop, and okay, that makes our lives simpler from a sales point of view, but actually makes the end administrator's life so much simpler, because it's one configuration tool, it's one administration, it's one system to set up and administer, and that really is very useful. And actually, from our point of view, like we're really excited with this platform, and we've now got a team of developers who are working on multiple projects using Map Enterprise, and it really does provide everything I think you could use for nearly 90% of all GIS and most anything tasks, and it really only leaves the very advanced, say, photogrammetric or map production workflows will still be done in desktop, but everything else we can do under this platform, which again is really exciting and very efficient from our point of view. And of course, Map Enterprise works under a SaaS model, so you can take this whole platform, but actually only consume what you need and pay as you go, which is really, really useful.
Yeah, really, really good. And Kieran's jumping ahead about 10 slides on me as usual, stealing all my thunder. I'm looking here smiling at him. So yeah, all really, really good points, and I'm going to touch on them as we go ahead, as we go through the presentation. Click off one second. So I guess Hexagon, as Kieran had said, a really, really great innovation, and as I said, even just as the salespeople going out and speaking to customers in terms of meeting that need, I think we hit most of the touch points inside an organization now. So when we're talking about these different applications, even mobile, for example, that you're going to talk about today, you have your GIS experts in an organization, so your administrators, the people that maintain the data, and these are the guys that may be the specialist division. So for instance, if I was in a county council, I might be enforcement, and I might go, I want to do a commercial rate survey. So that specialist division goes and speaks to the GIS department, and those guys will configure the app and connect it to the data sources that it needs, put in the workflow, whatever questions that need to be captured, which is quite good, and then the field crew can go out and capture that information. It could also be a utility. It could be, again, a division coming saying, ESB, we have X amount of poles down in the field. I need an application for the guys to be able to take an image of poles that need maintenance or that are down, so that another division can go out and capture that information. So again, it's like a bag of Lego, like literally kind of fits about 90% of most of the needs, because it's completely configurable based on the different departments' needs. So when I was talking about GIS experts, so these are people that build the application, then you have the field crew, again, and this is the element we'll be showing today, that will go out and capture that information. The specialist division, and they're the guys that are going to be analysing that information, that might be doing reporting, understanding what budgets need, how many new poles, if it was ESB, for example, do they need in order to replace the ones that are faulty, and then onto the manager then. So the manager doesn't need to know the complexity of what the GIS officer does or the GIS individual department does in terms of getting that information and maintaining it. They just need an answer. How much are these poles going to cost us? Where is our hotspot for issues in a particular area? How many vacant sites do we have in a particular constituency? So it's not that their role is particularly simple, it's just as in the complexity on the GIS side is quite simple. They just literally need to see an answer, so they might have to report to the board or whatever it may be. And again, as Kieran as I spoke about earlier on, so you have all these different components: desktop, web, mobile, visualization, and geoprocessing. But it's all just one administration center, which is Map Studio on the left, Map Enterprise Studio on the left-hand side. And as I alluded to just earlier on the previous slide, that's where the GIS expert will connect to Mapgeni, for example, whatever different databases are inside the organization. It's also where they would set up workflows. So, for example, an individual can only complete a survey if they're within 10 meters of the building, or within 10 meters of the pole or the bin or whatever it may be. So again, so you're ensuring that the data is captured correctly. You can also include in imagery, etc. So again, one application, Map Enterprise Studio to manage them all. From there, those individuals will then publish them up to mobile for the field crew to be able to go in and just pick up a device, whether it be Android, Apple, or Windows, and go out and do their job. Same with web. So if it's that specialist division internally, just wanting to review the information that is coming back into the organization to make decisions, or then the rich client, and that's probably a little bit where it's, as Kieran was saying, where you'd have where you might want to digitize a particular area for a particular survey to happen, or you might want to capture assets, and just that kind of little bit more detailed GIS stuff. So it brings me on to mobile. So I kind of touched it already. So Map Enterprise, the mobile component, is supported on Windows, iOS, and Android devices. So again, you can literally just download the app from either of the app stores, and you're pretty much away. And it's got some really, really unique features. Now, I'm not going to go through them all. I'm just going to kind of cherry pick a few as I go along, and then I'm going to go in and kind of show you the demo. So on the configuration side, assign workflows and tasks. This is really, really important. So again, the people out in the field don't necessarily tend to be the experts. So again, to be able to assign a workflow to say that here's the form, you need to put your name in first, you then have to capture the location, whatever information that can be driven through a workflow in order to be able to, really, really simple. And then the tasks, so then you're given a list of tasks. So you're working in this particular area, and here are all the vacant sites you have to survey, or here are all the poles that you need to look at in a particular area, or fiber optic cabinets, whatever it may be in a particular area. So again, you don't need to have an expert. You can have, which does happen in a lot of organizations, you might put out some part-time, get some part-time people in for a little while to complete this information, or students, again, is a very, very popular one. Again, with this workflow, they don't have to be experts in terms of the data. They can just give them a mobile device with an application, and they can be driven through the information that they have to capture. Really, really simple. On the GIS tools side, again, just probably more on the GIS expert side, again, you can bring in vector layers, you can bring in WMTS, and there's also caching of information, which is really, really important. So M.App Enterprise Mobile works both online and offline. So if I'm going out to an area of poor coverage, which, let's be realistic, it could be in the city centre nowadays with tall buildings, I can download my tasks or my work package for that particular day, and I can go out into the field and I can capture that information. Once I get back into an area of Wi-Fi, I can set it to manually sync, or I can set it to automatically sync once you get into Wi-Fi zones. So those records will automatically be uploaded and they can be seen back in the organization. Which brings you on to the synchronization side, and that's your intelligent sync. So it knows once it gets back into a Wi-Fi zone, okay, I've got 20 new records here, it's time to upload them. You can also monitor activities. Now I know with government agencies it can and cannot be, it can be a bit of a funny subject, but if you are, say for example, getting students, or if you are getting part-time people in to do these type of surveys, you can monitor activities. So you can say that, oh, well, Tanya's done 50 surveys, but Kieran's only done 10 surveys. Something's wrong here. So it's not necessarily to beat him with a stick, but it might you want to reach out. Maybe Kieran needs a little bit more training, or maybe he's having issues with his device. But again, you can monitor those activities as well, just to make sure that everybody's kind of in the right areas and they're capturing the right information.
Can also help from a health and safety point of view, because you could have somebody who and use it as a geoprocessing or alarm. So you could have someone who's actually in the wrong area and near, like again, from a utility point of view, it could be near dangerous equipment. Yeah. And actually you could flag that they're actually surveying an area they shouldn't be. And again, or even the other side of it is that I think this was the census in South Africa, where you could assign the worker to an area, but then if somebody has decided to survey the wrong area and actually you're duplicating the work, and you can then, well, actually guys, you're in the wrong spot, and you want to move that, actually want them to get back to their own areas and be more efficient.
Mm-hmm. Smart like Kieran again, because that was the next point I was going to touch on. He just loves jumping in there. So yeah, no, all really, really good points, and especially if these mobile tools, Kieran, it's a really good point on the health and safety, and something that I think of myself. Like you think of the bad weather that we've been having recently, if you know that is a particularly bad area that you're sending a field team or you're sending a field crew out to, again, you can highlight that there is severe flooding as they're driving into a particular area and stuff like that. So no, really, really clever. And that brings me on to the GPS services, probably my favorite topic now. Kieran, as you all heard, just stole a lot of my thunder, but I'll touch on a few pieces on it. So one is the tracking services, and Kieran kind of hit the nail on the head there. So it's very important from health and safety to see how the team are going around, make sure they're in the correct area, but also from a management piece that they can only capture information on an asset if they're in a particular area. So if, for instance, I'm an ESB worker and I'm sending a team out to be able to survey lines, I can make sure that they are doing the survey within, say, 5 meters of the pole or the line. Again, so they're not sitting in a coffee shop or at home on the couch completing these surveys, which we've all heard horror stories of. The joys of having these tracking services is that you can go in and make sure that, not even tracking services, there's more spatial rules that if someone's doing a vacant site survey, that they have to be within 10, 20 meters of the actual site itself. Or if they're doing commercial rates, that they have to be within a distance of that particular area. Or as Kieran mentioned, if I'm assigned a particular area to work in, that I'm in that area, so there's no overlap or duplication of information coming in from different enumerators. And then finally, routing services. So there's 2 different types of routing services on it. So the app, just straight out of the box, has as the crow flies. So again, just point to point, and it shows you the kind of point-to-point navigation to a particular area. But it's quite clever, is it leverages the mapping component in each of the different devices. So it has turn-by-turn navigation by car, by cycle, by walking, or by helicopter, which if your organization is that rich that you have helicopters to send teams out in, brilliant. And that kind of comes from the survey in South Africa that Kieran has mentioned, and that's why helicopter is in there, massive land survey, and so that needs to be there. So again, if someone, say, captures or reports, say, Japanese knotweed in the middle of Sligo somewhere, I can, on the application, I can have that information and I can route directly to that using, if it's an Android device, Google Maps, if it's an Apple device, iOS Maps or Apple Maps, or if it's a Windows device, Bing. So again, I can be driven turn-by-turn navigation to that particular area. Or if it's a survey, I can be brought to that area where I'm going to be surveying. So I can switch from car then to walking, and then I'll have a list of here are all the houses I have to survey, for example, and then I can literally be guided on a little walking tour. This is the quickest route around in terms of distance to all the different houses. So really, really clever, really, really powerful in today's world, I think. So I'm going to jump out. I'm going to try connect the phone to it. So you'll have to bear with me. Kieran, feel free to fill in the voice. Yeah, sing if you don't mind.
So the first thing is that the M.App Enterprise does work on phones and tablets. It's designed to be kind of responsive. Also, the form-based application can support a kind of hybrid model. So the data capture is fine. You know, the forms that data will work on Android. They are agnostic that they will work on, and you'll see slight changes if it's an Android or an Apple phone, but that the code will automatically pick that up. We use XML for the configuration of the offline workflows, and that's that you can do that easily through an example builder. Also, just one point to Garrett, just to reiterate that probably Garrett inferred, is that the data capture is both form-based and graphical, so you can capture points, and if you've got a good screen space, you can do polygon and line as well. So it allows you to edit and update. So you can create new records, or you can actually update existing data. So you could do an inspection or update asset records or whatever. So Garrett's proving the
It was working. I've tried it about 3 or 4 times. So the second you go into the webinar, it wasn't working. I even tried it yesterday just to double check. Okay, so here we go. John, I'm going to try and see if I can do it over Wi-Fi. The Wi-Fi can be a little bit slower.
There we go.
Okay.
So just to prove it is a real demo.
Yeah.
So this is a little form we just threw together as to prove the principles. The niceness is how easy it is to create these forms, and actually how the styling you'll see in the form is completely off the shelf. So actually, this is how the form will always look, and you can create your drop-down lists and your pick values, and also on the form side you can actually build in validation. So if you want to, build rules to check that certain values are entered, if you're not using a drop-down list, or if you're adding in some other text, you can do that as well.
Oh, stop. Okay, give me 2 more seconds. We can do this. I know I can. Just give me 1 more minute.
Your phone can't join the webinar now.
Probably could have. I don't know if I can do it now, but I could have. I don't want to do it by Wi-Fi.
That's what happens with the device.
Yeah, it should be just automatic.
Yeah, just have it open. If you click on that.
There we go. Okay, here we go. Yes, yes, patience. Okay.
We can see all your WhatsApp messages.
Yeah. Just you giving out to me, probably. Samsung Health. I can promise you that I've never opened that application. So I've just literally downloaded this from. So this is the M.App Enterprise. This is the application. It can be branded if you wanted. There's a cost to it, but just out of the box, it's just a standard M.App Enterprise. So when I create as a GIS expert the app for the first time, once I created it, I'm presented with a QR code. I can share that QR code with all of my surveyors, and all they need to do is with the mobile device, the camera is, open the application, scan the QR code, and all of the database connections, passwords, my user administration, all that kind of stuff can be set. So,
and again, you're seeing the Hexagon Geospatial logo here on the form page. That's not that's just changed easily. So it's not part. It's only when you want to change the app icon on the device itself that you have to go into a change with Hexagon. we could have put the IMGS logo in there.
Oh, easy, yeah, absolutely easy. So you'll see here, this is the first one I'm presented with. So I could, for instance, change my survey that I'm working on. I can also wipe local data. So for instance, I could have been working on a vacant site survey yesterday, and today I could be working on I could be working for ESB doing a poll survey, for example. So again, I can wipe the local data and download a fresh packet of information, my fresh work list for the day. So I've been messing around putting some kind of bits, and I'm going to show a video after this because it's connected to the computer and I'm just kind of mirroring the screen. I can't pinch or zoom or any of that kind of stuff, which you'd expect from a mobile device. So I'm going to show the video as well, just to show how actually a little bit more rich it is. So on the left-hand side, you can see I'm in offline mode. On the left, I have locations open, locations to approve. That could be sites to survey, sites completed, to be uploaded. Again, this is completely configurable. Here I have my little map, and again, it should center. Yeah, I'm already over. So I can I'm over here. I think there's some more options up here. So again, select navigation, layer type, and things like that. And what I'm going to do is I am going to just a very basic format here instead that we put together. I'm going to capture a new record, so you can see the star there. So a name is a must. Description, we'll call it webinar 19. Location type. So again, Pagruti, when she's putting this together, so obviously we know the GPS on a mobile device isn't great, so you might want to highlight while I was indoor or I was outdoor, depending on the type of survey. The status, I can just leave it as open. Waiting for approval again, I can click it. I can edit the geometry, so again, I can just use the device's geometry. Oh, okay, so pinged in straight away of where we are. So again, I can say yes, this is where we are in IMGS and Blanchardstown. And then, for instance, I could, I should save the record. And then I can go back in here and I can capture an image. So I can upload one if I've taken it already, or I could just hit capture. Say hello to everybody. Hello. Hit capture. It's a good thing, trust me. No one can see my face. Okay. Again, if it was, say, the extent of a road or a vacant site, you might want to say where the image was taken. So you could say front door, or if it was, say, the extent of a road, you could say start, middle, so on and so forth. And so I was going to click start. Description, call it me, and then save. And that's the record save. So really, really simple. I can also go back into the record, and I could, for example, not that anybody would probably want to see it again, but you could go in and you could look at it. So say I was coming back and I want to see what an image was before, I can go in and have a quick look at it there. I can, all the other standard stuff you'd expect from a form, I can go in, I can edit, I can recapture geometries, etc. So really, really simple. I said it's a really, really basic form that we put together quite quickly, or Pagruti put together for us quite quickly, to give you an idea of what it can look like. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to jump back into the presentation. I'm delighted that actually worked in the end.
Well, the technology that didn't work was the syncing software, not our software.
Yeah, it wasn't ours. That's true, actually. Yeah.
We can blame Google.
Yeah. So this is on the video on a mobile device. So this is the South African survey that Kieran had mentioned earlier on. So you'll see the slight nuances in terms of the look and feel from an Android device compared to an Apple device. But again, when you're creating these applications, you're building it natively inside M.App Enterprise. Or so you're doing it inside M.App Enterprise, and it will automatically display natively into Android or iOS or Windows. So again, you don't have to worry about, I have to create one application for Android, one application for iOS. Again, you just create one. So here's, for instance, a work package for this individual doing the census survey. They're just filtering by distance. So again, they can go to an area and go, show me the quickest distance of all the houses that I have to do in a particular area. You'll see that classic click wheel from Android devices, or sorry, from Apple devices. Again, and they can literally, you're not having to worry about free text fields or the quality of the data being put in. Again, you can give them predefined boxes. They can also have intelligent drop downs. So if I select a particular area, it will automatically correlate to that particular area. So just really, really quick and drive them through it. That was just a picture of the maps. You see all those red exclamation marks. So again, I can go to the map and I can see all of the areas, all the houses in this particular case that I have to survey myself. Any ones that I've done will be completed. These are ones that are in progress. And then the next piece is going to be syncing. So again, this person obviously has a cellular enabled device, so just got into Wi-Fi, and again, they just hit the sync button. So this is a manual sync, and it's going off and it's syncing all those records. There's just some of the navigation tools that are there. So again, you go to an area by car, and then once you get there, you can switch it over to walking, and again, it will bring you through the area. So I just wanted to touch on that really, really quickly, just to show you what it looks like on the other device. Again, Kieran and I are always available, so if you want to see it in more detail, we're happy to come out and give you a live demo with no side sync. I'll bring it out on my actual phone so you can see it. I wanted to
they can actually download the app today.
They can. I think there's a demo available online. I think it might be the South African demo. I'm not too sure, but there is, or maybe it's a New York instance.
Yeah.
I think it's maybe New York instances that's available. Yes, if you want the App Store and download it today if you wish. In talking about the roadmap, I touched on it earlier on, but it's very rare. I think we can send is going to be the 3D visualization and analytics, all within inside the browser, which is a big piece. And then Point Cloud, you'll be able to just drag and drop in Point Cloud and be able to analyze that information. And then finally in June at Hexagon Live, when Kieran's going off to Vegas, as he normally does every year with a big smile on his face over here. It's very important work.
I have to understand what's going on.
Oh, no, it makes complete sense. Maybe one year he'll bring me along. They're going to be announcing the data management, data cataloging. So if, for example, you did a survey, so let's just say, again, I'm using vacant sites because it's something I was speaking about quite recently. If someone's out doing a vacant site survey or have completed one 2 or 3 years ago, that information can be stored, and you can go back and as you create your new application, as the individual's going out and capturing even more information on a record that was captured 2 years ago, they can enrich that, they can take more photographs, they can go back and look at all records. So again, just that cataloging or management of GIS data, which is quite important. So to summarize, just before we get to the Q&A, I just want to say that M.App Enterprise provides a complete set of modern GIS tools. So not just the mobile element, but as Kieran again alluded to earlier on, it's the desktop, it's the web, it's the mobile, it's then the visualization and the geoprocessing all in one platform. So really, really powerful. Back to the mobile side, you can create, configure, and deploy applications rapidly. And what I mean by that is by empowering the right people with the right data on any device. So you're only going to create the application in one management studio, so you're only going to create the application in one area inside M.App Enterprise, and then from there you can distribute that out to the right people through Active Directory. You can connect into the right data, and they can just pick up any device and go. You don't have to worry about, oh, well, I'm not compatible with this or compatible with that. So again, you can spin out these applications really, really quickly as different departments inside the organization come to you, which is important nowadays, especially to keep the GIS departments relevant, I think, and stop people going off and creating the old Wild Wide West. To be able to get a request from a department and then to quite quickly stand up an application with some forms and then push it out there. It's really, really important. It's got that wow factor for people as well. That feeds me nicely on to our next webinar, which actually Kieran and Aditya, I think, are doing it. And it's on talent data quality. I did one myself, well, probably about a year ago now, on just data masking around when GDPR was quite a hot topic back then. Probably one of my favorite tools. It's free, it's open source, you can download it today. But I don't think there's a single organization alive that doesn't have a data quality issue at the moment. And with the likes of data prep inside Talent, you can go in, you can load in your information and understand it quite quickly and make sense of it and then clean it up and visualize it, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, we're also going to be showing how you can profile your data and show how what good data is, where there's duplicates, where there's how you can enrich. So with talent data quality, you can actually run profiling and reports on your database to see data quality, and then we'll be showing how using stewardship or data preparation you can actually fix those data quality issues.
Oh, very good. Sorry, that was me too. I thought it was just data prep.
No. And again, I know we're not geospatial, but this is non-spatial data or real data.
Yeah. Bum.
But again, actually, one of the things we are looking at with some of the users, some of the workflows now will be integrating something like SME. Yeah. SME is very good at fixing data quality issues, but actually where talent comes in is when you are looking at duplicates, extra records, trying to get to that golden record. Yeah. It's a great tool for that, and that's on the 7th.
Oh, brilliant. Love it. I look forward to that. And then finally, the SME World Tour, probably one of my favourite days of the year. So for all of you SME users out there, we'll be hosting the SME World Tour on Tuesday, the 14th of May in the Ashling Hotel, as where we have for the last 8 or 9 years. It's always a great day out. SME users from all across Ireland, the Isle of Ireland actually, will be there swapping ideas, getting inspired with FME. So it's free to attend. I do know we are nearly at the top end of our registration. I'm looking at Tanya there. She's almost looking at me. Stop asking people to register. But by all means, come along and register. You can do it through our website, www.imgs.ie, and just click on events. And we do probably have, I'd say, probably about 10 or 15 spaces less than 10. Probably she's looking at me, probably the lower end, maybe 5. But yeah, no, it's been a great turnout this year so far. So again, please, if you have time, come along. It'd be great to have you. So thank you, first of all. I know everybody's quite busy, so to take the time out and then to come in and listen to Kieran, myself, and Tanya discuss mobile data capture, we really, really appreciate it. Any questions, Tanya?
Yeah, there's one here. How is the data storage on the device when offline?
Oh, yeah, so it's stored using the OGC Geo package. So, and actually now G-Media we've kind of completed the work, the round trip. So the OGC Geo package is an open standard GIS database that actually where we put both the graphic and the attribution, so into the database. G-Media now, the desktop product now supports reading and writing to it. It's actually its default, moved off Access and it's now using Geo package. And again, because it's OGC, then actually when you bring the data back in, yes, you can think it back to your SQL databases or Oracle databases, but also the data then is in an open format that anybody can consume in any other application. So even if you're not using Hexagon products in the back office, you can actually connect to that data because it is in the OGC format. Any other questions?
No, I think that's it for questions. Yeah.
Everybody's quite shy today, which is unusual.
Yeah.
We're getting bombarded. Again, I can see from the list here that pretty much everybody has my contact details and Kieran's and Tanya's as well. So if you do have any follow-up questions or too shy to ask, by all means, just pop us an email. We're happy to come back and answer any questions you may have. And just keep in mind, we have our next webinar next Tuesday with Kieran and DTA, and then the World Tour as well. Thanks again, guys, for tuning in, and we'll see you soon. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you very much. Bye.